Okay, so this is our second model here, and this particular one looks like a little mold or impression of a paw print. It's in terms of the difficulty for this particular model, it's actually quite simple. So there's not a lot of depth. It's a small object, and again, you have a lot of things that are in your control with this. It's got a good features, good geometry, and decent texture. So there shouldn't be a lot of difficulty in recreating the geometry. So from that regard, not a challenging project, but nonetheless, still, useful, I guess, for some people if you want to 3D print this or whatever. Now, in terms of the photographs, you'll notice that there really are not a lot. Okay, so someone went around, took a bunch of photos from the top, and that's okay when it's a simple object and a simple model, and you can just take, one round of photos. Not that big of a deal. I mean, you can do quite a lot with very little photos so long as they're organized and the subject model or item is useful. So from that regard, I'm not too worried. It may have helped to have gotten in a little bit closer, but certainly the quantity is sufficient. The coverage is sufficient. The photos themselves look quite good. They're fairly crisp, and I can bring one up here like this, and I can cycle through a few of them. Not too bad at all. I mean, they're pretty good. There is a little bit of glare. So I don't know if this is a metal cast, but it looks like it maybe. And this little glare and these sort of artifacts that happen can cause a little bit of problem in the reconstruction. And if we have a quick look at the settings here, exposure time is 1/60th. F number is 1.8. Now, normally, I would say bump that up, and you'll see the ISO is 800. So this could have improved by using a lower ISO. F number could have been bumped up a little. But in this case, honestly, because the object is more or less flat and there's not a lot of depth to it, and you're not getting really, really close, all the shots basically fill the field of view entirely with the object, so it's never cut off or you're never getting in really, really close. You're okay. It wasn't really all that detrimental. So looks pretty good from that regard. And let's just have a look here. Let's look at the mesh and see what that looks like. So let me go back here, and there we go. So the mesh quality is okay. I think it's pretty good. A lot of little bumps and things like that. It probably needs to be smoothed a little bit here, and maybe a few more photos would have helped somewhat. But I have to say, simple object, pretty simple project. The texturing looks pretty good, and I would say that this model on a score of 1 to 10 probably gets a good 7. I think anyway, maybe even a little bit more. It's just, even though it may not have been that challenging, overall the final result looks pretty good.